Right, good, you're here. I am so excited. Guess what? I hope this isn't about your podcast again. Why, did you finally listen to it?
Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. The Groomer Next Door production.
Hello, pups and kittens, and welcome to another fun-filled episode of The Groomer Next Door. This is episode 167 with our guest, Mike from MyPetDMV. I'm your co-host, Chris Green. Sitting next to me, as always, is the fabulous Sarah.
Hello.
And we have Claire.
Hello.
Well, this week, our fun fact of the week, a person standing still 300 yards away is almost invisible to a dog, but a dog can easily identify its owner standing a mile away if the owner is waving his arms. Can you figure that out? I don't know how that's even possible, but okay.
It's like a T-Rex, you know.
The T-Rex.
Serpentine!
Oh God! Land of the Lost.
Are the size of a walnut.
Land of the Lost reference with Will Ferrell. And we're not one of those little Nerdist type kind of podcasts. Sure we are. All right. Well, let's just jump right into our actual fun Saturday, Sunday episode with our weekly roundup.
The weekly roundup. Yeehaw.
We have so much to go over because we actually were off last week from the podcast, so we got to go over a lot of different things. Let's jump back a week ago. A week ago, we actually did a surrender of puppies, and
that's right.
I know, that's why I got to get it in there. You guys all got to see it on Facebook, on our Groomer Next Door podcast page. We went Facebook Live with the actual pickup of the puppies. We had I think 5 different videos. One even showing food aggression.
Yep.
Those guys were absolutely adorable, and it was a quick one. Luckily, the rescue that you were using, they followed through immediately.
Well, the rescue is using us.
Okay, well, but they had the transport.
Well, yeah, the rescue used us. They said if we would go out and pick up the pups, they'll have them taken care of the next day. I'm like, okay, I'll go and we'll live on puppies for a night and then hand them over to the transport so then go to St. Louis.
You were saying if they can't be here until Saturday, that's okay too, because we picked them up on a Thursday and had them until Friday. And you're like, if they wanted to.
Yeah, well, they could totally wait another day. I mean, totes.
They were adorable, too. They really were. They were really cute little puppies. And they went right off, and they're doing great. I'm not sure if they got adopted yet, but they got vetted. I know that.
I don't think they can be adopted until they're... I don't know.
I thought that they would be fully available for adoption because they were of age to be neutered. All boys.
I don't know. I don't think they can neuter them that young.
I thought they were. Well, it depends on the vet. Some vets will do it.
But there is a wonderful rescue out in St. Louis that is taking care of them. I know they're in good hands. I'm quite excited.
When you say in good hands, I just all of a sudden think about Allstate. And then we, well, actually, let's go to Pretty Pitty, the pit bull that we've actually had for the last few weeks.
My pretty pitty.
Oh gosh, she is so adorable. Pretty Pitty has made a lot of progress, a great deal of progress. Here's a dog that had E. coli poisoning, had never been indoors before, had never walked on a leash before. Never really been loved before.
Hasn't been in a car before.
Never been in a car before, which unfortunately still throws up every time. I don't understand that.
She gets car sick every time. I tried putting her in the front seat, tried to put the windows down. I've done everything, and she still gets sick. And we only drive about 10 minutes to work.
Right.
15-minute ride to work. No, sorry.
Is this all of a sudden one of those karaoke podcasts?
No, it's one of the it was
Whatever.
a commercial.
Go on.
It was a commercial.
Oh, is it?
I think it's a movie line reference, commercial line reference.
Awesome.
Okay. Hopefully, we can get it to where she doesn't do it very often, and she only does it once each time. But I feel so bad for her. I mean,
Yeah, it's kind of odd. One of the other achievements that we've been able to get to is now she's off leash trained.
whoop whoop.
That was a really interesting concept. I watched her when we first got her. We've had her now a month, and I kind of was paying attention to her tendencies. She took to commands really well. So one day I just said, I'm going to take the lead off of her, which I love doing this when Sarah's around because every dog I've ever done this to, she panics, and I think it's fun to do. But I took the lead off of her and said, let's go in the door. I do it in very slow, meticulous moments right by the door, so she does try to bolt. I would be able to, get her. But she just stood there by the door and was ready to go in, and as time has gone on, I was able to gradually. So right away, about a week ago, I just, walked outside with her, and oh boy, even right now, Sarah's still shaking her head. Nope, you were panicking.
Because I can see her just taking off, and it's like I have no energy to go and chase down this pity mix. And it's just
Apparently she's Pitbull Dalmatian mix.
but she's too small, so she's probably an Amstaff of some sort.
And we did actually find out a little bit more. We're not entirely, it's not guaranteed that the facts are 100% accurate, but they do fit the profile. She was abused. She was put into a kennel with exposed nails, which shows why she has the scars on her nose and on her backside.
The one on her backside is healing.
Thank God. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's finally healing.
Obviously, E. coli poisoning has been cleared. But then we also found out that they were just pretty much breeding her, mass breeding, just to, puppy cash, in a sense.
Well, they said that her and another dog that she was bred with, they put out really pretty brindle puppies. And the brindle was such a vibrant brindle, people loved them. So they sold them for like $50 each. And they call it a rehoming fee.
Right.
And what is ridiculous is that they didn't give them the first round of deworming. They didn't give them their shots. They didn't do anything. So that $50 went straight into the pocket. Because they're not feeding the puppies, they're feeding the mom.
Right.
It was just an aggravating situation. She's had so many puppies, and she's only 2, that her midsection's hanging.
This was a rough one. This one was a rough one. I mean, you talk about a real rescue. This was what started out to be a surrender, ended up becoming a real rescue.
Yeah,
a rescue and a rehabilitate.
It was awful. She was scared of men. She was scared of being touched. She was scared of loud talking. If you walk near her, she would run and cower. Yeah. Still got to work the house broken. Oh my gosh, the house training, that's awful. That's a challenge. And luckily she goes in one spot, so if she's going to tear up anything, it's one spot. What's great and hard about rescues is a lot of times when we get these guys, we end up having to really work and rehabilitate, and this is a rehabilitation. She loves climbing into the bed and going to my side of the bed, though, which I find really rewarding. And she just passes out on your pillow. She does. She looks like me, just passed out right on my pillow. I'm like, all right, whatever. But when it's bedtime, no, I'm sorry. There's a really nice bed for you. She's kicked Katana out of her bed. She has kicked Katana out of her bed. So you get this little tiny itty bitty pup. I mean, she's not big. No. She is small. And I say she's no more than 30 pounds. If that. If that. We're trying to put some weight on her. Yeah, but here's this huge bed that Katana took up the entire thing. And then this little tiny dog curled up in a little itty bitty ball at the corner of this bed, and there's my Katana laying on the floor. I'm like, come on. Let my Akita have the bed back, because my Akita's old. She needs it for her hips.
What's also really great is that she's not dog aggressive or cat aggressive either. She takes to everybody. That was again another one of those little fears of introducing, and we waited a couple weeks. It was not until I think last week.
No, we
2
waited
weeks
1
ago?
week. We waited 1 week. Just
now,
once she got over the E. coli poisoning.
Well, I think it was a little longer because it was a while. Now that she interacts with Roxy and Katana, it was a while. Update on that: she will be going in this Wednesday for her spay and for shots. And then moving on, segueing into the next one, which is Bagheera. Bagheera has luckily his. I'm always used to saying her because we have so many females. His amputation is this Wednesday. It is definitely time. It is definitely needed. This is going to fast track Bagheera for a forever home. I think Bagheera's up to date on shots, if I'm not mistaken. They might boost her rabies, but the amputation will be this Wednesday. That's going to be a challenge in so many ways. I will Facebook Live different times with Bagheera, or just film at different times. So hopefully all works out. I expect this to be a very big challenge, and we have yet to actually cross one of these off. So amputation and our kind of new addition to it's going to come around. But we're fortunate that the doctor will tell us a lot and give us instructions and go from there. And then, excuse me, and then we have an adoption update, which is literally fresh from recording about an hour ago. This adoption happened, and I'm going to pass it on to you because I want the sadness to come out.
Nope, I'm going to hold it together. I'm strong enough, I can hold it together.
I told myself I wouldn't cry.
Well, we got a foster application in a few days ago regarding Double and Toil. We've had Double and Toil since July 2nd. 2016, so we've almost had them a year. Almost. Well, they're very interested, and we started talking, and they were really good guys, and their roommates. They were very excited to meet them. They really wanted to meet the cats like earlier in the week, but there was just no way of us getting out there. But we finally took them out, and Double and Toil, they didn't want to come out of the crate. I'm like, guys, you are not showing a good first impression here. Come on. And Toil came out of the box, and it was so funny. Toil didn't want to move because they had a ceiling fan.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. A ceiling fan. That's what actually worried the cat. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Never saw one before. But it wasn't even on. It was off.
It was off. And he was staring at that ceiling fan, freaked out. Kind of like when Claire went to Walmart and they had those hunting tents that were hanging up, from the rafters, and Claire didn't want to go go underneath them
or near them. Yeah, she would cry even if she saw it on the other side of the store. Don't get me near this.
Don't do it. So, yeah,
But they did well. I mean, they're starting to adjust. It was weird because you would think that Toil, the one with the dark nose, was going to be the adventurous one. That's always how it's been. Double's always been the real quiet, submissive type cat. Both male, but, that was the personality. But that's not how it was. Toil was right behind me a lot of the time. Like, Daddy, save me. I'm like, no longer Daddy. These are your daddies. So, it's kind of one of those, they've always seen us, they've only been with us.
They didn't want to leave our side. And I was like, well, we can try to show them where the litter box is. Like, hey, this is a cat-friendly home. Come on now.
And you would think litter box. They love the litter box.
Oh, they play in the litter box.
They've loved to play. They've always played in the litter box. It's like a little sandbox for them.
Yeah.
Go figure that one.
But, and I noticed Claire had a hard time letting go, too, because she's like, come here, Toil. come here, baby. She was feeling the anxiety of letting go.
And here I am, I'm happy because we have just enriched two people's lives for a very long time. That it's not an enrichment that's just going to go away tomorrow. It's an enrichment that will continue on year after year. And I always look at it from that perspective. And everyone, I kid you not, folks, every rescue we've done, either Sarah or Craig, Claire, will say, I want to keep it. And I'm like, no keepy. We go give them to somebody else. And it's cute. I mean, you guys will feel the effect for a few days, just like I will affect the time change.
Well, on the weekend, they jump up in bed and they're like, what's up? Why are you sleeping? And they start kneading on my back and they'll start purring and trying to lift my hand up with their head and so I pet their chin.
Well, you know what else is funny is I had just talked to the Ozark Actors Theater just the other day. And I have been saying for probably the last 3 weeks, I'm going to do a video of these guys now. I've got to do a video. I just haven't had time to, get them in the room and, film them just messing around. And now, well, they're adopted. I was just asked the other day, hey, what's going on? Are you going to, long time, almost kind of foster failure? What's going to happen? It's like, no, we've been very meticulous on who gets these guys.
Yeah, our goal was to make sure that they went together.
Right. They had to have a good home. They had to meet certain requirements. And they had to go together. And that was a hard sale. Sale.
One thing that I've noticed too is that more men are starting to adopt cats.
I don't know if that's actually a new trend. I mean, I was always a cat kid. Cat boy, cat
all
kid.
The guys I've ever known, they wanted dogs.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we're more in a open, touchy-feely world now. So guys would always say, "I want a dog," but
understanding world that we understand that guys want cats. The cats are actually kind of.
I was a cat person as a boy, so I didn't go around with the masculine kind of I want a dog, but then again, I did love dogs too. So go figure. I liked them both, but I had cats. I knew cats more than anything else. That's always been our unique trade-off. The dogs. I knew the cats, and then we kind of learned different things.
Yeah.
But all's good. So that means 2 more have found forever homes. Being meticulous on our fosters is key to the success and placement. I mean, come on, every one of these guys are rescued from really bad situations, and we're able to do what we do and then find them the right home, not just a home, the right home. So
I'm thankful that the folks over at Oats took care of these guys and did what they could for the mom and made sure that Lady McBee was okay and gave a successful birth to beautiful kittens, and now every single one of them has their own home.
And a good home.
A good home.
And not just a home, a good home. A good loving home.
Each of them.
Which is sad because I feel like I've just lost a piece of my little oat. But I know for a fact that that's not the last time that we'll do things for them.
And what's great too, they have supplied us with so much cat
food. Oh my gosh,
food.
yes.
They have...
Stephanie has been great.
Yes. I get choked up here just thinking how much help and support that we got from them. And we don't ask for it.
No.
They just wanted to help.
Yeah.
And they were appreciative that we stepped in and did something. But we appreciate them stepping up and getting us food. Because it's hard to feed so many animals. Because we look at it as, there's other people that need the food more than us.
Yep.
We can do it if we penny pinch here and there.
Right. Well, that's rescuing for you. I mean, that's how it goes.
It's not cheap.
No.
Rescuing is not cheap.
We could have gone on vacation. We could have gone on a nice vacation last year.
With all the stuff that we put in for our cats, yeah.
Cats, dogs, yeah.
But it's all worth it because each of these lives that we touch are gonna have a happy ending.
Yeah, and it's not just the dogs or cats' lives that we've been able to make an impact on. It's the people. I mean, we do get a little bit of information on how things are going with the new pet parents, and
I get to see Spencer.
You get to see
like
Spencer,
twice
yeah.
a month.
Yeah.
I get to go see him and trim his nails, and it's nice. I get to see him, and every time I walk in, and he perks up, he comes running to me. He doesn't
I can't go.
know
I can't go for Spencer.
That would be hard for you.
Yeah, that's the only one. That's the only.
I should make you go.
No, I can't. I can't go. Spencer was just, you bottle feed a cat. And, this little kid, you're bottle feeding him, and you're having to actually help him go to the bathroom, and oh my gosh, you become the mother cat in a sense.
And he was so ugly.
He was so adorable. Oh my gosh.
He was so ugly. He was just this wild thing that was just on the loose, and it was awful. And then he turned out to be a pretty handsome little man.
Oh, it was awesome. So that's right now where we are on the Fosters. I'm sure this is not the last of Foster stories we have. Obviously, next week we'll give you an update on Bagheera and his recovery. We'll give you updates on how Pity is doing. And I know for a fact you can look at our Facebook page. We will have videos of different things with Bagheera. I'm hoping we get an actual family photo with Toil, Double, and his new pet parents. I'm hoping soon. They couldn't get it today, but I'm hoping to get that really soon. Put that up on there for you guys. And, that's pretty much the story so far. Let's move on, because we weren't here last week. We're going to be doing a pet food recall. Alright, pet food recall. Came out March 2nd of this year. Blue Buffalo has issued a voluntary market withdrawal of 17 varieties of Blue Divine Delights and Blue Wilderness trail trays due to quality issues with the foil seals on the top of the cups. No other Blue Buffalo products, including any variety of Divine Delights not listed below, are impacted by this issue. The company is not aware of any dogs becoming ill from these products. Here are the products. Blue Divine Delights Filet Mignon flavor and gravy, the 3.5 ounce cups. Blue Divine Delights New York Strip and flavor in gravy, the 3.5 ounce cups. Blue Divine Delights Prime Rib, 3.5 cup. The Blue Divine Delights Rotisserie Chicken flavor in the 3.5 ounce cups. Blue Divine Delights Pate Filet Mignon. Again, all of these are in the 3.5 ounce cups. Blue Divine Pate Porterhouse, the Blue Divine Delights Pate Grilled Chicken, Blue Divine Delight Pate Top Sirloin, the Blue Divine Delights Pate Angus Beef, Blue Divine Delights Pate Roasted Turkey, Blue Divine Pate with Bacon and Egg. All these are sounding really good. I don't know why. Blue Divine Delights Pate Sausage, Egg, and Cheese. The Blue Divine Delight Pate Steak and Egg flavor. Blue Wilderness Trail Trays Duck Grill. Blue Wilderness Tray Beef Grill. Blue Wilderness Trays Chicken Grill. Blue Wilderness Trays Turkey Grill. To look at all the different UPC codes of these and a recap, you can look on the actual description of this page, and it will all be listed. That concludes this week's edition of Pet Food Recall.
Oh, hello. Hold on a sec. Dad, we have a guest on the podcast.
Alright, this week I am so glad to be joined by Mike. You are the owner of MyPetDMV, a great product for all of you dog and cat parents out there. It's a cool way of putting your dog's or your cat's picture on a driver's license on their collar. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Chris. I'm glad to be on the show.
I am so happy to be able to talk to you. You have created something, as I mentioned before we started, something that has always had visual pleas to my senses, and I've mentioned it to so many people over the years, and I see it on different customers that come in, and I love it, and it puts a smile on my face. So the first thing I have to ask is, how did you come up with this great idea?
Thanks for asking. So, we all love our pets. As a pet owner, we have 2 cats, we have a dog. We love our pets. We will do anything for them, but there's a scary fact that over, millions of pets are lost each year, primarily due to just not being identified. My background's actually IT. I come from the corporate world where we are doing things and building out infrastructures for corporate people. And I wanted to take that knowledge of technology and create something that was fun for pet owners. And what better way to do it than create a fun tag that the user has full control of designing by uploading their pet's picture, adjusting the picture, putting in all their vital information, pet ID, such as their microchip ID number, address, phone number, and having it look like the actual driver's license that the owner carries in their wallet. So I thought of this idea, and my wife and I came up with a website, program that's used to make these, and we launched it on the internet about 6 years ago. And since we launched it, it's one of those products that when another pet owner sees, they absolutely love it. It's not only functional because it has all the pet's vital information in it, but it's also one of those fun pet products where you can take out of your wallet, show another friend your dog and what they look like in the state ID that you guys reside in. It's a great, fun product to just have fun with.
And it really is. It's so unique. And one thing that really caught my attention right off the bat was the simple but technical concept of a driver's license number. You pretty much made this so smart that it blew my mind. It's your telephone number. I don't know how you came up with that. That was so cool. I was like, wow. I mean, I thought the same thing. I'm like, well, how are they going to work out the actual, identification number? And it was like, telephone number. Huh. How brilliant. It's so simple, but it was brilliant.
We try to keep it as simple and practical as possible.
Now, whose idea was that?
That was actually my wife's. I'll give her credit. She was like, why don't we just put usually the driver's license number is the largest number on there. Well, if a pet does get lost, we want that to be the most prominent number on there. We want it to be the phone number so that pet can be returned back to its owner.
I asked that question because I had a feeling. That's usually my answer for everything that we've ever done. It's usually my wife who comes up with that perfect idea. So I had to ask it because I had a feeling. Was it difficult to actually launch the product? Did you face any issues with that?
At first there's a lot of effort to get all the different, we sell the IDs not only 50 states in the United States, but also for Canada as well. So getting the artwork, getting everything loaded into the system, there's a lot of upfront work initially to get that going. But what we wanted to do is not only create the ID, but create a system that allowed our customers to go on there and put in all their information, see a preview, make the edits, and then finish it directly online so that they know exactly what they're going to get when they get it in the mail.
Yeah, and you do. That's the cool part. You do.
That's the cool part. That's what we do.
You do. And I will have a kind of a follow-up question to that. And that was because I wasn't sure if Canada was on there. But besides Canada, do you have other countries, or is that just the only two, is the United States and Canada?
As of right now, those are the only two, but we are working on expanding and getting more pets. There's pets everywhere out there. We want them all ID'd. Everyone needs all pets need an ID.
Right. That is true. So what issues did you first encounter besides, just the artwork? Was there software issues? Was there website issues? What were the issues that came about?
Well, I can go into technical issues about it all day long. But probably the biggest issue, and it's always still a challenge, is the pet's picture. People take pictures of their pet, maybe sitting on a couch or, a close-up. And sometimes you get the background noise, or the image is too busy or too large. So, when you do it, you want to pick the best picture that clearly shows what your, pet's portrait looks like. That's one of the challenges. We have some online editing tools that allow you to zoom in or zoom out so that you're not getting that background of everything else that's going on, and you just get your little guy's picture and his characteristics on that photo.
And I would imagine that would have been really tricky. Because I hear it all the time from different apps, different software, and it's always the photo, something to do with
The photo, yeah.
It's always that quality is just never there. You think to yourself, with camera phones being so good, they still blur, which is weird. Was there trademark issues that apply with all these different state driver's license, or is that just kind of, open for people to, work with?
So one big thing that we strictly enforce is we don't allow any humans on our IDs. We've had people ask if they could have their baby on there or their kid. We strictly enforce no humans, only pets. That's just so that the system's only used to identify pets. And as far as the IDs themselves, they do say that there's novelty only, and it also has, it's a pet driver's license, not a human driver's license. And people tend to go to the website knowing that, and I think anyone else that looks at our software and our templates understands that this is a fun pet product that serves a purpose as well as a novelty.
I can see people wanting to put their child on there. Now, with that concept, I mean, does that spawn into, a side project? Or are you thinking, hey, maybe my baby DMV?
Right now, we have enough pets out there that we want to just focus on the pets. And when I say pets, we've seen everything from birds to hamsters to bunnies to your dog's cats. I've even seen a couple goldfish get their IDs. And it's great because some pets, they're at home. They're stuck in the house for most of their life. So it's great to go out with a group of people and say, hey, this is my pet goldfish at home or my hamster. So we've seen it all.
I like that. Now, that of course brings the question is, what's the strangest animal pet that you've actually ever seen come through?
Oh, gosh. I would have to say I've seen a snake, and it was a little scary to print the ID with seeing the snake's head, but the owner absolutely loves the snake, and he wanted an ID for a snake.
I can see that. I mean, my wife loves snakes. She had a snake before. I don't even know if we've even told the story on the podcast. She had the snake. I was staying over at her place one night, and we were really new dating. And ironically, I was sleeping on the floor, and her snake had gone missing. And I swore up and down that snake was nearby. About a week later, I found out that it had been living in the closet right where I was sleeping. Oh, no. Yeah, so pretty much for the entire time I've known her, every time I tell her something's going on, I always say, well, let's reference back to that day. So I've never let that go. But I'm afraid of snakes. I'm kind of like Indiana Jones. But I know a lot of people who just absolutely adore them. And so... I agree with you 100%. I mean, the best part of this job is when we print the IDs and see, what type of pets people own. And it's just great to see the love they have for the pets. It's great to see the photos that they've taken the time to upload. And it's truly a blessing to be able to print these IDs and send them to their owners so that pets could be ID'd. It's a fun job. Oh, I bet. And just to see the love that goes into
exactly.
it. That's amazing.
Exactly. Exactly.
Now, we're talking a lot about different states. Now, it does bring up the question, which state is your biggest seller?
I would have to say the competition is between Florida and California. Those are the big ones.
I was going to say California. I would have thought that as being the one, but I would not have thought Florida.
Florida, yes.
And what's so cool is the fact that you actually can do Canada, because I grew up in California. I now live in the Midwest, but I love, I like Toronto. I've always wanted, that's places I want to go. I'm like, that's where I want my pet to have a license. But then I'm thinking to myself, then there's people out there who, they might want London. They might, England, obviously. Well, London, England. But Paris and then again, I look at my Chihuahua, and of course, I think, hey, that wouldn't be fun. It wouldn't be as funny. Let's go, something more breed specific to it. But that's just.
We actually have some pets that would call themselves snowbirds as well. They have a New York license, but then they also want an Arizona license as well for when they travel. So we've seen it all. And then we have some people that just wish they were in California. even though they lived in the Midwest. So they might have it shipped to Illinois, but they actually want a California ID. So we'll work with the customer on whatever they want. We want to work with them on that.
Well, see, one thing that I want to do is this is one that I'm going to do. We're going to get our Akita Katana, we're going to have hers done. But since we picked her up in Oklahoma, that's where we're going to get the license plate, because that's where she's from. So it makes a little bit of sense. But, for the most part, I can see, picking and choosing from different places you may love to visit, or, maybe, just one of those fantasy type places. Why not?
We've seen it all, yeah. I personally would want to be from Hawaii if I had to.
I can see that too. It's a really cool. That's the fun part is that now. I guess I'm going to ask that question too, but the fun part is to see all 50 states and how their licenses are. What is your favorite?
My favorite state? Gosh, that's a I never really thought about that. I would have to say, I've seen the Alaska driver's licenses, and Alaska is one of those states you just kind of forget about. Yeah. But there are a lot of pets out in Alaska as well, so it's always good to see us shipping IDs all the way up to Alaska.
And I would think that'd be cool for a husky. But that's just me. Yeah. I would think that anybody who has a husky, they're like, oh, I have to have Alaska. That's kind of my thing. Now, I won't ask least favorite because, obviously that's kind of pointless. And, it's one of those kind of almost poking. But what would you like to say to customers that are your current customers or even your future customers? What's something that you would like to say to them to kind of, further their idea of going out there and ordering their own pet ID?
Well, one thing, the other benefit with this is we provide a lifetime guarantee on these IDs. So if it fades, it breaks, it falls off the collar, just simply email us and we'll get you another ID, no questions asked, in the mail. So we stand behind it. We want, at the end of the day, the purpose of the website is to keep your pet identified at all times, along with, you being able to show off your pet with the wallet ID. So if you have any issues with any of your orders, we'll be more than happy to get you a replacement ID out there. Also, Chris, for you having me on this show, we're going to give anybody that listens 50% off their ID, and all they have to do is use the coupon code at checkout, Groomer, GROOMER, and they can get 50% off.
Which is really cool. That was really cool.
It's awesome.
I love that.
They'll get a full-size wallet ID that looks identical to your driver's license, and then 3 keychain IDs to go on either your keys, the dog's collar, wherever you want to put them. I've seen them as luggage tags. I've seen them used for anything.
I thought that was cool. I was going to mention that in a little bit, but thank you for that. That was so cool. That was so cool. And I actually have physically seen these. Like I had said, we do talk about this to different customers of ours, and they are durable. I wasn't sure how they would actually, physically look, and I was like, that is durable. And to think you have 3 of them, even if something did happen, sometimes dogs like to chew on things, you still have 2 more. I mean, it is one of those cool ideas that, you're not just sending one small little tag and that's it. You're actually giving quite a lot.
Exactly, yes.
And for even with the before you actually enter that code, it's $20. I mean, that is really cheap considering, you go to Walmart or you go to a Pets, one of the big giant pet stores, and you have those made, the little tags. They're really kind of templates, and you're still spending $10, $15 on them, depending on what you're getting, and they're not as personable as what you're doing.
That's a great point to bring up. And one other thing I forgot to mention is when they're designing it, we have an option that allows the customer to choose if they want the background of the pet. For example, if the pet, if their dog's picture is in front of a house or something like that, we'll actually remove the background and make it blue, so it looks just like the headshot at the DMV. So we'll give them the most authentic looking pet driver's license possible.
That is so cool. That is so cool. Now, here's always a question I always have to ask. If you can, do you have anything that's coming up in the future you can talk about?
We're really started this venture just online, and we found that partnering with organizations, specific rescues, veterinarians, organizations that are specific to pets, we're starting to expand in the retail industry, and our goal is to give back to that organization. So each organization will have our tags there, and for any tag that's purchased through that organization, we'll give back to them. Whether they need whatever type of pet support they're looking for. So that's one of our big initiatives in 2017.
That is so cool. That is so cool. It inspires people to want to go out there and actually get your product. But, let's just be realistic. It's so cool as it is. Why wouldn't you? But to get back. I'm surprised you don't have kiosks in different places that you could just do it right there as well. Because some people you think to yourself, how can you not go online? But some people don't even think about doing that, and they like that luxury of a kiosk.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea as I'm writing it down.
Hey, that's great. I'm always, one thing I always just want to inspire people. So, hey, if that inspired you to, come up with an idea, cool. I love it. Because getting your product out there even more so, that's the whole goal for me. So besides, actually your option right now is to go on to MyPetDMV.com, and that's where you can place an order, correct?
That's correct. That's where that's where all the magic's done. You get to choose which state you're from. You enter all your vital information. You get to see an online preview of what it looks like. You can make any changes or modifications right there, and then click submit. We print the IDs 24 hours after they're ordered, so you could order it on a Monday and you'd have it in your hand within a couple days.
Wow. Yeah, and right there alone. That usually doesn't happen. A lot of times it takes a few weeks to get something, unless you go into those, template kind of kiosk things, which I'm not a huge fan of. Exactly. Is there anything else that I've missed? Because, like I said, it's such a cool product, and I love the fact that you have it in Canada as well. I love that it's all 50 states. Is there anything I have missed in that?
It's one of those products that really speaks for itself. If anybody on your show has any questions, they can go directly to our website, MyPetDMV.com. There's a contact form there. We reply. We try to reply within 24 hours, but what you see is what you get on this product. It looks identical to exactly what you design as you're designing it.
And that's one thing that's so rare when you actually, talk to different people with products, is that a lot of products you actually have to talk a lot about and kind of pull the layers off to really understand it. Your product is right there, just by the name itself, says it all, which is cool. But then it's like, I want to know more. I want to, pick your brain at it. How did this go about? How did you figure this out? Well, I really appreciate you taking the time and doing this.
Well, it's a pleasure to be on your show. Thank you for getting me on it.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you again, Mike, for being on the podcast. I've always been a fan of this product. I also wanted to throw a shout out to his wife. I know that she's listening to this episode, and I wanted to give her a shout out. Mike had said, my wife will be listening, so I got to give her a shout out. So, I love the product. I think it's just so cool. It's a keepsake, and it's a good way of having identification tags on your pet. It's really an all-in-one.
Every time I see him come through the salon, I look at him like, oh, look how cool. Oh my gosh, these are so cool.
We had one come in, not this week, it was last week. And I just stood there looking at it on the collar, and I was just, admiring it. I love them. I've always loved them, and I'm looking forward to seeing what more comes about. I think that there's so many applications that can happen, and I think that they're going to be able to do a lot.
I really like their wanting to make sure every pet is tagged of some sort so they get back to their proper home. There are thousands upon thousands of dogs that end up missing and never returned.
Right.
And a lot of people find dogs that all of a sudden they get a new dog.
Right.
So keeping a tag on them, keeping any kind of collar on them. I like how they have a spot where you can put their microchip number on the license and able to do that. And I think it's so stupid that that they have to make a label that says no human photos.
Well, I mean,
you would, I think is the first thing that comes to my mind.
Okay, but look at when you see a commercial with a toy and it has an iPad with it. iPad sold separately. It's like, no kidding, iPad sold separately. But, we live in a world where we have to actually say all these things.
It's like
warning labels.
a coffee cup that says, caution, what the drink you're about to enjoy is hot. No way. Hot coffee is hot.
That's thanks to the lady who sued McDonald's. Thank her for that one.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
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 So I'm sorry that they have to deal with that kind of stuff, and luckily they figured out a way to get it through, and calling it a novelty. But I love it, and I love how the fact that there's only a couple states that are real big sellers.
Yeah. I mean,
I would like just to get one where we're at the time. Get a Missouri one. I know you said Oklahoma.
Oklahoma for Katana. Well,
where she's from.
Well, yeah, she's from there, so it has to be.
But you never know that I don't think that's where she was born. I think she was actually bred in Nevada, not Nevada.
Doesn't matter. So we got her in Oklahoma, so that's where I always will look at her and think of her as Oklahoma, no matter what.
It's gonna have a California phone number on it, anyways.
Which is always funny because I give these different guests my number, and a lot of times we have a lot of guests that are in Southern California, and they go, well, why do you actually have a Southern California number, but you have a Central Standard Time for the, I have to explain that a lot. And it's like, I'm not giving my number up. Never. That's mine forever.
I'm going to have to get a work phone with a 573 number, because when I call customers, they don't answer their phone because they don't know who's calling because it's from California. And I understand people's logic. Nothing good comes out of California.
We did. This podcast kind of did.
But
I guess it was born here.
Most times when you're talking to somebody from Missouri, they're like, nope, nothing.
I disagree. A lot of people in Missouri are from California. A lot of
people
reverse
in the
transplants.
United States from California. People leave California when they got the bright idea, hey, I'm going to leave.
Well, I think it's more of the financials of California make everybody leave, unfortunately. But with the phone number
and the
thing,
mudslides.
The fires got me. The earthquakes, yeah.
The dirty oceans.
Hey, I love the dirty ocean. I miss my dirty ocean. One thing that I found was so funny is when I was talking to Mike and the whole concept of the phone number being the identification number, I don't know how I picked that up, but I look at things that we do with the podcast or on any other creative side. I will tell you something, and you'll right away come up with something that will be better in a sense. And I don't know how I picked up on it, but I was like, that had to be his wife.
And that had to have been like a mind blown kind of moment.
Right?
Like, oh, hey, that's a great idea.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times that's happened on this end.
I love hearing concept ideas and how they came up with it, and the process, the stories alongside it. Pretty cool. And then their mission to make sure every dog's tagged. It's great. Every cat, bird, snake.
You and your Bojangles, I swear. I swear, I think that's the very first time I've ever told that story on the podcast. I don't miss that. No.
I miss my Bojangles.
I am not a snake person. That is one that's a reptile, but it's still something I do not want to have. I don't want an iguana. I'm just not.
Ooh, I had a tripod. Tripod was so cool.
Oh, God. I can't. Yeah, you would actually have had a pet ID tag with
my iguana
yeah,
stitcher,
you would have. Yeah. You would have.
And Bojangles and my snake
You would have. Yeah. No.
I'll get one for Hedgie.
Hedgie. Oh my gosh. I can see it though. I can completely see it.
I'm gonna open up my wallet instead of having credit cards like most adults. It's gonna be just IDs of all my animals.
We are not adults. We have not adulted ever. We play with kids, whether it's ours or with sports.
Here's a school picture of my daughter, but look, this is my Hedgie, and That's my Akita.
I love the fact that you can pull out of your wallet the license, the driver's license, the ID, with your pet on it and show that off. I think that is such a cool concept in
and then
itself.
you spread the word, and this helps get people excited to tag their dogs.
Right.
It gets them excited to do something, because it's more than just a boring heart with an engraving.
I hate those.
And I say that because Belle has an engraved heart.
But they don't have a Tijuana ID. They needed a Tijuana one. I want that for her. I mean, you talk about a dog that would fit that profile. Belle is that dog.
Sombrero.
Oh gosh,
That's
every
really...
Halloween at Walmart, I see those and I want to buy one. I have a naysayer next to me on the other side of this mic. Who is the naysayer going, no? I'm like, it would be awesome. I mean, come on. You don't have to have Rosarita or Ensenada or anywhere else. Just one that's Tijuana for all the Chihuahua owners out there who are just like, it is the perfect for my dog.
It'll be kind of cool to get a Japanese one for like
an Akita.
An Akita, Japanese Akita or something like that. Just it'll be kind of cool. I mean, it makes people excited to start tagging their dogs, to start keeping their information correct. If you really love your dog and you don't want it to go anywhere, keep the information accurate. You get your chip number on there. Okay, great. There's a chip number. Make sure that all the information attached to that chip number is correct. If you're somebody that changes their phone number, like they change their underwear, keep it updated.
Right. And one thing that's great about this is that having a chip is definitely important. That is important. But I don't know how many times I see this. I mean, you see this as well. Dogs get out of their fenced-in yard. They'll just, for some reason, they bolt out the house. Whatever the case is. And we see a lot of dogs that'll be running down the street. To get the actual chip read, you have to go to a shelter. But these tags, they're so easy to read. They're identifiable. This is for anybody who just finds a dog in their yard and goes, oh, there it is, right there. It is so perfect.
Yeah. I enjoy it. I'm looking forward to ordering a few.
And, it was funny when it popped in my head the idea of a small kiosk. I kid you not.
That would be great.
It would be in our shop.
It would.
I would have it. I always say, if we ever were to get a shop, I would want to have a side that said, as heard on the podcast. And, I want that. That is a dream of mine, to have a section as heard on the podcast. And that is something I would want, because I am so much in love with these.
Yeah, and a little kiosk there that does a little digital printing on there, so you can have any state.
Or even country, you can have Canada.
Yeah, that would be pretty nice.
Hey, I like my Toronto, okay? Leave my Toronto alone, okay? Sorry about that. No? I love that. Well, by that sound, Claire has turned on the applause sign. Again, thank you, Mike, for being on the podcast. Stay in touch. Love your product. Huge fan.
Remember when you go online to order.
Yes, and if you go on, they created a special promo code for us. Type in Groomer, Groomer, in the promo code section and checkout, and you receive 50% off. That is an amazing discount. I mean, kid you not, that is amazing. I mean, I said this already, you go into a big box store and get one of those generic ones that are really kind of dull. Everybody has it, and you spend the same amount. So I highly encourage.
More.
I think you do spend more.
Especially the nicer ones.
I highly encourage everybody, please go to their website, and I have a lot more details on the description page, and please check them out. We really, really, really appreciate them and everything. Again, promo code is Groomer, Groomer. I'm Chris Green. Have a pet-tastic week.
I'm Sarah Green. Make sure everybody realizes life is short. Play with your pet.
And just remember, I actually said it right. Claire?
No.
Say goodbye, Claire.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Okay, gotta go. It's my bedtime.